Welcome to ACE. I'm your host, Darren, and happy 2020. It's the beginning of a new decade. And what better message for us than to take action on what we want to do and make things happen. And that's why I'm publishing this chat I had with my friend Bin. Bin is a social entrepreneur in Saigon, Vietnam. He runs 2 social enterprises, and he's dedicated his career so far to trying to solve big problems in society here in Vietnam. And he's such an inspiring guy to me because of how action-oriented he is. You get the feeling when you're talking to him that nothing can stop him. And I love that energy and that optimism that is also tempered with, a very practical and systematic way of doing things. So I hope you're as inspired from this chat as I am. And yeah, let's get it this decade. Here's my conversation with Thai Binh. This is my friend Bin.
Hi.
Bin is such an inspiring guy. He's so sick that when we were coming up the elevator, I'm like, Bin, man, it sucks to be sick. And you're like, oh, it's fun. Being sick is fun. You're the only person who would ever say that being sick is fun.
Look at the bright side. I survived. Actually, I hospitalized before I go to the stage for presentation, and then they give me like 4 injections just to keep me alive. I was like a walking zombie and then I walked to the stage, and somehow I got the energy to survive that.
Oh my gosh.
This is a terrible season, but on the bright side, you survive.
That's the funny thing. I would expect nothing less from you. Because you're like the only person I know that would do that with a smile on the face. Many people would do it and like, oh my gosh, I got through this pitch, but you're like, haha, this is funny.
I'm positive. I'm positive.
Well, tell us about the pitch. What were you just doing?
So it's they call it Blue Venture Awards. So it's like international award for social entrepreneurs. And there's a mistake in the system that 2 of my company got into the top 10 and one of them got the top 5. So actually, like, for every company there can only be 1 entrepreneur represent. So like it's eligible to have 2 companies at the same time for 1 person. So because 1 company in Vung Tau and 1 company in Ho Chi Minh, right. So like they thought it's different big. One night before the event, the pitch for the top 10, they just realized that it's the same thing, and then they asked me like to quit one of the project. So they called SiGen over SSVN. So they told me to drop SSVN, but I said no. I will get my other co-founder to present instead of me. But the funny thing is, like, she agreed. The next morning we have to arrive there at 7, and around 9 p.m. In the previous night, she told me she was so sick, so she cannot even talk. I talked to my new recruit, community manager. Yeah. She really young, but like I think she can do that. So I said, I just called her, tomorrow you make the pitch for me. And I say, okay. and the next day she did it really well. The judge really loved it. Yeah, but like they choose one of the project, but like they really enjoy that. Wow. So we make it through. So
so you had 2 of the top 10.
Yeah.
Like, what would you call it?
Social enterprises.
Yeah. In Vietnam in this competition.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why you're on the ACE podcast. And I want to talk about the origins of both of those.
Okay.
Because we'll explain the acronyms and what they stand for.
Okay.
But I just want to start our conversation with something you wrote on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You were just kind of talking about what you were doing. You were at the Blue Venture competition, and then you said, 6 years ago, I made a goal that before 30 years old, I would find a way to make my career and income, whether more or less, that it must come from solving a problem of humanity. I started entrepreneurship a bit late. I have paid a lot. Want to know what that means? But fortunately, I closely met the deadline.
Yep.
So I want to know, just before we get into like the specifics of your, what you've been doing, like, why did you have this goal?
Okay, so it's go long before 6 years ago. It's come down for when I was a kid. I live in a very kind of gangster area, so like it's a dangerous place, and my parents always lock me at home when they working, so like I was alone with a TV, and it's not like nowadays like the kid have all the show they can get, like the cartoon all day, but like at that time like they have like 1 hour cartoon in the whole days. So I don't know what to do. So I watch. Among the TV show I watch, my most favorite is Nat Geo and Discovery. So since I was really young, I really well of the problem of humanities, especially environment problem. At that time, like people have no idea like what climate change is, and every time I talk about climate change, even my family think I'm crazy. So like, was you sick or something? And even they say like, if the problem was real and you alone, you cannot do anything. Like there's so many try to put people polluting. At that time I was in Vung Tau, and at that time I was only a few to think that, and I didn't meet anyone to have the same feeling. So I was thinking I was crazy the whole time until I get to university when I was 18. And in the first day of university, they have a student fair. They have on a club, and there is environment club. I cannot believe that there's those people exist and they share the same idea. And I feel like I was not crazy anymore, so I joined with them, and then I become the leaders of the president of the club.
Yes.
And then we lead the club from a very new club, like 5 people, and into the biggest club in RMIT for like 200 people at that time. So like we really make some change. Like the students start rejecting plastic in the school. So a lot of shop they decided to replace it with like paper bags.
Yes.
It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At that time, nobody cared about plastic, and there is a big community in.
Well,
in the
some
school.
people cared. You guys cared.
Yep. And then we love it. Like you have like celebrity supporters, and then the message get even more popular. And then when I quit school and I go to Australia, I even though I got a master in finance, but I joined with like the environment collective in my school, University of Queensland. And then it was there when I realized that like civil society organization, they are actually fixing the problem. But like better public governance can stop it from happening in the first place. So the public governance is something you have to do. When you are in Vietnam, you don't see the new standard. But like when you go overseas, you see like this is the good practice. This doesn't exist in Vietnam. And then I decided to go back to Vietnam to go in the government. And during the time I go in government, because I was like I was only a few in the local government who can speak English and know how to work with foreigners, so they picked me to work with like international project. And that time like we was like investment promotion and policy making. We tried to stimulate the local economy after the financial crisis. Lots of economy going down at that time, and also like at that time they
in Vung Tau,
Barrier Vung Tau, and at that time after like the incident in Formosa, like there is a big environmental disaster, and then we realized that our system is not good enough, because like it's allow bad investor like in their country they have strict environmental regulation, so they moved the whole factory in Vietnam to pollute, and we find out that our legal framework is not good enough, so we are in like some joint project with Japan to bring the equipment, the technology, the expertise, the legal model from Japan to apply in Vietnam as a pilot project to make sure that like it doesn't matter who come, they cannot mess up Vietnam. So we were very passionate in that. But the turning point was about a breakup story. So at that time I had a girlfriend of 4 years since my university. And then to some point she told me, what you do was really nice, but it was not cool and there was no future in that, what you do.
Does she mean money? What does she mean?
I mean like it's like reputation, like like
you're doing big stuff for the government,
but like nobody know that. The point with the government is that like if you do good thing, people don't know. Have you ever read any newspaper say good things about an initiative in government that have a lot of people? No. But when you do bad things, everyone know. Yes. And at that time, lots of incidents scandal happened in Vietnam, and the government officer have very bad image. Even though like I met a lot of good people in the government trying to do good things. Yes. And also in terms of money, it depends what you think, what kind of money you have. Yeah, and that time like she was in the showbiz industry. So what she think cool is like celebrities, entrepreneurs, shopper, business owner, that kind of things, and that made me think a lot, because it was not her only. I think the majority of society, if not 99.9% of them, thinking that way. So I feel...
You're talking about Vietnamese.
Yeah, I mean like Vietnamese or even the world, At that time, there was no concept about impact or impact business. At 6 years ago, there was no idea about social entrepreneurship. It's just like I felt it's not really fair. You know what, like if there's some problem and it's profitable, there is business come in and capture it.
Yes.
And if there is a problem and it's not profitable, it has to be done as well. But because there's no profit in that,
Yes.
so usually when people do that, it was not like people cannot get rich or people did that but get unnoticed. Only a very minority in the society recognize the effort, even though they pay so much, they pay their whole life to doing that. So I think it's not fair. So I come up with the ideas of why a person cannot achieve both financial benefit and impact at the same time. It's like a trade-off. Either you choose this or choose that, and I don't think it's correct. Because I have some dilemma like that in school as well.
Yes.
So when I was become the president of the biggest club in school, and when we talk with other leaders in other clubs, the senior people, they say like, if you want to be a president, you have to sacrifice your academic achievement. Or if you want to have the best of academic achievement, you cannot become very big. But I proved them wrong. Yeah. It was become the biggest club in the school, and I was in the top of the university, both university I was there. So I think like first we have to get over that mindset. Because if somebody cannot do that, didn't mean like you cannot do that. So I just keep looking for 6 years. Actually, like at that time I work in government for purpose. I want to make an impact, and we make. It's not like a lot in 5 years, but like I'm proud of what I did in the government. It helped people, but like for certain problem that the government cannot solve because it's not like in the top agenda. So we make a non-profit group called Overseas Alumni Vung Tau. We try to address the education problem because we have a bunch of people who get from overseas, and we see that they lost knowledge we can bring back to Vietnam to make to improve the local education, because Vung Tau is like a regional area. They don't have the good education as in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh. So we're trying to do things for the student there. And because like both that the job cannot earn a lot of money. Actually, the government is not a volunteer job. They don't pay you a lot. I hold 2 positions and I earn like $150 a month for a master degree.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, for 2 positions, and I don't ask for more because they don't have a system to pay. But because like I see like there is a vacancy there and nobody can do that, so I just do that. But like,
so you had to do some other stuff on the side.
Yeah,
clearly
so
that's not enough for you.
Yeah, that's not enough. So I make my own company. I have a company that do about advertising for government. Because in that time in Vung Tau there is no design company, no agencies.
Yes.
So we become the first. We just employ people from Ho Chi Minh to work in a project in Vung Tau.
Yep.
And we become kind of a favorite place for a lot of department in the government. It's earned me more than enough to live, and also I also have the resources to invest in another startup.
Yes.
It failed, but like it's really fun. It was my first try in software engineering.
And what were you trying to do with that?
What?
What was your first startup that failed?
We tried to do something like Quora in America.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. But like it's more like because we found out like we have so many people overseas that know how to get overseas for better education, and so many kids over there want to get that knowledge, but they don't know how. But we make a platform so people like Quora, people can chat and talk together and share experience.
Yes.
Yeah, but it failed anyway.
Happens, right?
Yeah, it's happened. But like it gave me a lot of experience in the software development, and later on we become like an outsourcing business. We develop like prototype for business, like lots of business. They are small business and they are kind of senior, like my father.
Yes.
They scare of technology.
Yep.
We fill the gap. We make them. It looks so simple that they can approach that.
Yeah.
We can translate their business demand into simple technology. So we develop software like that. From software we develop like animation for advertising.
Right.
We develop some simple design for like that. So we have contract in Vung Tau in Australia for the Australian embassy.
Yeah.
I had quite a good life at that time. But the point here is like when things grow really fast, you have only 24 hours a day. You have 8 hours in the government. You have some like 4 hours for your business.
Right.
And you have 4 hours. Like I have like 12 hours a day. And when everything grows so big, you have to decide what you have to sacrifice. Yeah. Because like my non-profit organization, like it's grow really quick. But like you cannot spend more time for it.
Right.
And also your salary cannot increase that quick as your organization grow. So I feel stuck because like I feel there's something missing, because like I was trying to get everything into one place, but actually it's like expand all over the place, and it's really get me exhausted.
You're talking about overseas
Alumni in Vung Tau and
Alumni
my company and government, you know, the three things all together. And then last year in January, I decided I will quit everything. I just quit everything. I try to have like a gap year to like have some orientation for myself, to look back to see what happening, to see what went wrong, why I get so exhausted. I need like to refresh myself, and then I look at the people I meet. I look at the project I was doing. Actually, like the three things is like three in many project, but like the other project I don't pay much attention. It's just like my hobby to do things. And then when I evaluate all the things I'm doing, I recognize two projects that have commercial value. The one with the Survival Skill Vietnam. Yeah. At that time, I developed the first mobile app for them as a volunteers. And another project is to develop a rainfall water catch basin that can stop the mosquito in the city. Yes. So we find that like those two things is a good product. It have commercial value. Yes. So I decided I just leave everything behind. I picked two. Yes. And develop on that from last February.
Did you really leave everything behind?
Yeah.
Are you still doing design projects or?
Yeah, it's a side project. Yeah, off and on. Like,
okay, so you kind of switched your focus.
Yes, yeah, switch your focus.
These two things are your main two things.
Yes.
Could you just explain Survival Skills Vietnam, what you guys do?
Survival Skill Vietnam, it was founded in 2014 by a Vietnamese who live in Switzerland and an Australian. The Australian was a paramedic. So like they meet in Da Nang for a workshop about first aid, and then the girl who named Trang Zena, she's a Việt kiều, live in Switzerland. She arrived in Vietnam as well, and when she learned that, she realized that in Vietnam there was no first aid education ever. And the Australian guys also, Tony, he read on newspaper, he says so many people die of traffic accident and from drowning, so they think they have to do something. So they get together, they make the project, and they just fly to Vietnam 6 times a year to do free training for the school. They are very amazing. Yeah. And I met them in 2016. 2016. Like they want to go to Vung Tau, and they don't know how to get a free venue. Yeah. So they want to provide the first aid classes. So there is some people just introduce me and Trang on email. Mm-hmm. So we met. Actually, I don't have any expectation about the course, but when I learned the course, I know why I was still alive. Yeah. Because I should have been dead for many times already. I got so many terrible accidents, but like somehow like my mother was a nurse at that time, and she was right there when I got the accident. Yeah. If she was someone else's mom, if she was not a nurse, then I should have been dead already. Yeah. So I felt like everyone need this knowledge. Yeah. And when I learned that throughout the class, I see like the way they teach in Australian way is very simplified and very well structured, and to me, because at that time I was running a software business. It's not a software, it's like prototyping. I try to draw things, make an idea for them. I'm not into the engineering, and then I find out that it can, because it's really structured. So I think like it can make into an app. I know something about website development. I don't know about app, but like I talked to Tony. He say like he talked that for a while, and when he got a quotation in Australia, it said $10,000. So he say like, no, this is a non-profit project, so we cannot afford that. And they say, okay, let me try it. So I go online, I learn some coding, and then I learn some platform that can help you to make an app with less coding. Yes. So I pull everything together, and in 2 weeks I make an app, and I show him. I say, wow, it's work. Right. And then and then we invest more. We take better photo. We put things in, and finally we have the app. It was the first mobile app in Vietnam, in Vietnamese, and it's free. And today it's the popular app, and we upgrade it into many versions already. Yes. And I think it's one of the best mobile app in the world about first aid training. Wow. First aid instruction. We're confident that we invest a lot, and it's a lot of very advanced feature in there as well. And I was just a volunteer, so I just support them as a software developer, and then we try to advertise the app. But it's it's in a fateful night. We have a dinner together, 3 people, because they go to Vung Tau. And I had a financial background, but I never used financial thing. That's first time in many years I use financial planning. So I just curious. I asked them how much they spend, how much they earn, and I grab it on a paper and I say like, hey, you only survive in 1 year. You can only survive in 1 more years. And they say, yeah. So I at that time, like, I just heard from someone there is something called social enterprise. So I say, hey, how about we make a social enterprise out of this? So with I picture an idea like, how about we give all the knowledge for free, and we earn money on the practice, on the skill. So yeah, that's the whole concept we follow. And then they was thinking for a few months, like.
You mean give away the app for free?
Yeah.
But then charge people for the training of the survival
on the
skills.
knowledge app, YouTube, TV show,
I see.
Books, anything knowledge for free. We just like in a small group practice. We're gonna check that, and even for people who have disadvantage, you get them scholarships to go to our class for free. And then Trang thinking for like a month, and then she come back to me and say, hey, let's do that. And we do that. We found a company in May, and actually in the beginning we only have a free training for school, but after they become a social enterprise, we have better app, we have a TV show, we have YouTube channel, we have distribute lots of books, we have a lot of community program, and we grow. In 2018 we grow 33%, and this year we grow 45% in terms of number of people who get that education. And in total, in 5 years we provide free education, both free and paid education to 35,000 people in Vietnam.
Wow.
And the thing here is in the 1.5 year we become social enterprise, the number of people we provide first education to double everything was doing in 3 years, the first 3 years. So I think like social entrepreneurship is the right way to do. And actually like we are quite confident we are among a few real social enterprise in Vietnam, because in Vietnam, like majority of social enterprise, there's the research from UK, from British Council, they say like majority of social enterprise in Vietnam, they receive external funding to live by. So it's not actually a social enterprise, it's an NGO. We survive 100% from our income, commercial income. So we are more like a social enterprise. So like that's why like nowadays we talk a lot of students and people. We try to inspire people to become a real social enterprise, and we wish that become a mainstream in Vietnam in 5 years. And I mean like it's really lovely to go to school and see so many people gather to listen to me and other people talking social enterprise and competition about social entrepreneurship. Lots of people, they was like me 6 years ago. They study business and they want to make impact, and they don't know how to get two things together, and we are trying to inspire them. There's a way to connect two things to make into one.
Wow. So just to paint a picture, I've lived in Saigon many years, and anyone who comes to Vietnam, the first thing they notice is the motorbikes and the number of motorbikes on the road and how crazy the traffic is and what it's like to cross a road. That's always like, what everyone records on their cameras. And I have witnessed so many awful road accidents up close and personal, and it's very scary because the ambulance often takes a long time to come because there's so much traffic in the city.
I see.
And people don't really know what to do.
So
I mean, I can actually give you an example.
You know that.
I think I told you. There was a big bike accident, and there was a man laying on the side of the road with blood in his helmet, blood coming out of his ears, not making sense. And 10, 15 Vietnamese just standing around him, but not touching him because they're scared. Like, they don't want to get involved with that. I understand. But, of course, they're shouting at me to get involved. Hey, do this, do that, call the ambulance, like, let's, help this guy out. And I didn't know anything. Like, I've never been in that situation. And luckily, I was with a friend who was a doctor who, like, knew kind of what to do. And, like, the basics, thank God. And I don't know whatever happened to that man, but we got him in an ambulance to the hospital. So, hopefully he's okay. But
what
I'm trying to get at is how important these survival
Yes.
skills are. And I actually attended one of your workshops, and it
Yes.
was really helpful.
Yeah.
But it's not like the U.S. where I'm from, where there's like systems for this. A
Yeah.
lot of people know CPR.
Yes.
And you
You have ERT.
there's like like
the-
people kind of know. I get the sense that people would help me and kind of know what to do.
Yeah.
But here, I mean,
I was in the US last year, and
Yeah.
I was put in I was job shadowing in a fire department in a hospital. I found that it's so amazing. In every neighborhood there is a fire department.
yeah,
Like even there's one guy they get drunk on the street. There's a cone, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be in a few minutes.
yeah.
It's so awesome. This is a fun question. Like if you have an accident, how many percent you think you can get help correctly?
In general,
Yeah, in
or
general, statistically.
20%.
Okay, so in a hospital in Hanoi, they say in a traffic accident, there is 10% that people trying to help you, but in 10%, 50% did it incorrectly, can make you die faster, and the other 50% mean that 5% you can have correct first aid.
Yeah.
So that's a huge problem. And about ambulance, 115 told me they try to expand the network of ambulance. They try to decentralize the ambulance network, and they tell me that in ideal traffic condition, it's take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But Saigon, there is no ideal traffic condition. You know what?
Yeah.
Unless at midnight.
Even though the accident was at midnight,
Yeah.
and it still took 35 minutes for the family medical ambulance to
Oh,
come, which is
really?
like
Yeah.
that's like the premier ambulance.
Yeah, the
service
premier.
for foreigners, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh. So that really left a strong impact on me, and I'm just excited about the work you're doing for
Thank
this.
you.
And I just want to cap your thoughts. You were saying you wanted to have an impact, but you wanted, a career as well.
At the same time.
At the same time, you wanted to make more than $150,
Yeah.
right? And so you're doing all these other things,
Yeah.
but you realize, you can combine them.
Yep.
So it sounds like part of your inspiration to do this is to inspire other people to do this. Is kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah, actually, social entrepreneurship is very young in Vietnam. We don't have legal framework in that, and if we cannot gather big community big enough, we don't have the impact on policymaker. Actually, to be a social enterprise, you have no incentive, no benefit on other business. Other business, they just do business and that's it. They get profit, and we do extra hard for everything, and we don't have any incentive, and we are solving the problem that the society failed to solve.
Right.
And we working so hard
Yes.
on that, but there is no benefit. We cannot blame the policymaker, because we in Vietnam there also a few hundred registered social enterprise. We cannot have a big voice on that. If we have thousand,
Right.
like millions or thousand,
Right.
then we will have the impact on that. But it will take years. We have to start right now. In 5 years, we hope to have
Yeah.
lots of people become a social entrepreneur, so we can be a collective voice
Yeah.
to represent a group of people.
Yes. Okay, and then talk to me about SiGen. How did that get started, and what are you guys doing now with that?
Okay. Actually, I was a dengue victim. You know what? Actually, the whole point of Survival Skill Vietnam and SiGen is about saving life.
Yeah.
And I have a really traumatic childhood. For Survival Skill Vietnam, I got fell off the second floor. I got electrocuted. I got dog bite bitten, and I got broken arm, broken legs, and everything. So I somehow survived that. So I become Survival Skill Vietnam. And for SiGen, it's come from my memory of dengue. At that time, when I was 10 years old, in my 10 years old birthday, I got dengue in that night. So it's very unforgettable memories. So it was 19 years ago. At that time, people don't know really well about dengue, and the diagnosis for dengue is very bad. Actually, when I got dengue, I was sent to hospital, and the hospital told my mom that I got a normal fever. And my mom was a nurse. She didn't believe that, so she took me home and she took care of me myself. That's the only time I go to hospital ever. So, have you got dengue ever in Vietnam?
No, thank God.
Thank
but
God, thanks
I
God.
have a couple friends who have.
Yeah.
and it's
So I tell you how it's like
It's
to get dengue. Imagine you feel pain in your whole body. You feel your pain in your eye socket. You feel pain in your bone. your muscle, your joint, and then you feel nausea, you keep vomiting several times a day until you vomit lots of blood, and then you get so sick, you have very high fever constantly, and then it exhausts you and you cannot see the color correctly, you don't see anything correctly anymore, and you get so tired, and you feel so tired to the point that if you feel like if you sleep, the next day you cannot wake up again, because it's the first time ever I feel so tired. And in my neighborhood, 5 kids got dengue, 3 died. I was a lucky one. And then 10 years later, my sister got dengue. We didn't live in a rural area, we live in a villa in a city, and we still got dengue. You can imagine how many people got affected by dengue. In the world, they say every year 700,000 people every year dies of dengue. 700,000 is equivalent to the people of death by HIV. Just to put into perspective, today, as we're talking, before you go to bed, 2,000 people die just today only in the world. So this is a very serious problem. And then it's not my invention, it's my father's invention, because like he see the catch basin, the sewer in front of my house is so smelly.
Yes.
So he said open it, climb into the manhole, and he tried to figure out why it's so smelly. So like it was like 11 years ago, he come up with the idea to have a catch basin that can stop the smell. But at that time he was not really serious about that. He just registered an intellectual property or IP protection. But then there's some state company try copy that. But like at that time the law in IP was not very strict. So we cannot sue them. And at that time, like he was an employee of a company, so we didn't have time to do really about that. So 4 years ago, he come up with new things. Like it stopped the smell. At the same time, it stopped the mosquito as well. It's an upgrade from the older version. Okay. And at that time, he just retired early. So we come up with the idea to make SiGen, because at the time we do some business, and he has the idea. So like we decided we get everything together. As I told you, like we doing some advertising and software development in the same company that we R&D the mosquito catch basin. So we do everything together. So the SiGen is in short of simple idea generator, because we realized that our idea was so simple, and we thought like why everybody don't do that. Because like all the idea, even like the software engineering, the designing and everything, it took very less effort on that. It come up with like an innovative use of very conventional material and process. We don't invent new material, we don't invent new process, we just employ on the things that already there. So that's why we make a company. Actually, in the first 3 years, the whole revenue or the whole things coming from my service of like design and software engineering to fund the R&D for mosquito catch basin. And and that's why we have catch basin, because my whole family has mosquito. But actually, like, to do that, like we have to go through a lot of the R&D stage, but like in the end, it works. We have IP, and we have to compete with like the very giant state companies, and they try to kill us all the time. And last year we successfully get over them to prove it, to scientifically prove it. So they have no way to try to kill us again.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so with SiGen, you were just in this competition. What's your thinking now? Are you trying to raise funds for it? What stage are you at with that? Actually, what are you trying to do?
Actually, like we are in the end of R&D already. We are piloting on a bigger scale. Actually, our plan is to commercialize next year. But actually, after a few TV shows talk about us, this year, like in 2 months, we have lots of orders. There's some like private housing developer. They buy our products, and for the government, we have like 25 units installed on 3 streets in Vung Tau already. So like, for government, it's kind of more complicated. We need to show them it works. And they have to go through a lot of paperwork just to get it approved. But like we confident about that. We will finish it next March in next year. But like for the private company, they don't care. Like we install 25 units on the street, and this is the old design. They just come and look after the rain. They just come and look. It's work. If this doesn't work, this work. We don't need a lot of and we don't try to prove it, because it's so obvious. And the whole point we try the competition, because like why not do that? Actually, like we don't try to raise fund, because we have enough of fund to scale up for 4 more times. We just don't know like whether it's innovative or not. We don't know how it's like in the community. So we try to we apply, but we don't have any expectation. Actually, it's a last minute application. And we just apply. and we just know that to see our level of innovation is that like really high, really low, or whatever. And we were surprised that like to know that it's like in the top of Vietnam about innovation. Like lots of applications submit, and we are among the top. And among the top 10, lots of them was in Shark Tank already. They got invested in Shark Tank already, and we were selected in top 5. So we go over on the Shark Tank invested company to get into top 5. And it was surprising to me, because like in the top 5 as well, some other company, they have invested in Shark Tank already. They spent 4 years in development. They have huge revenue already, and we as a start. It's like a very big recognition for us as well. Right? Like we just really new. We only sell it next year.
So, like in terms of where you would install that, I would think that they would all be government clients, right? Because isn't the government in charge of the roads?
Yeah, it depends. Like for private residential project, it belongs to the developer, and for the public street, it belongs to the government. Actually, the government is a bigger market, but like the private is an easy market. But in the government market, we have the IP on the patent already, so we're confident there. Because like to win a contract there, you have to prove that you have patent over the design. If you don't have patent, you out. So our patent is protected in Vietnam. So we are confident in the Vietnam market, and we survey other countries as well. We see they have problems as well. I know a group working on mosquito, international group, and they just got a report last month. They say in Vientiane in Laos. Mm-hmm. In the survey, they estimate every family have 1,000 mosquito in one family. And then...
What do you mean in one family?
Like in one household. There's 1,000 mosquito. And then the majority of mosquito are culex. Culex mosquito is a mosquito grow in the dirty water. And you know, on the street, it is a capital city. You don't see the dirty water on the street. But there's 1,000 mosquito in one household. So which means they suspect it come from the sewer. Mm-hmm. So that's where our demand come from. Yes. And if you can read on TripAdvisor, lots of tourists complain of mosquito problem about mosquito. And with climate change, mosquito will cover the whole world. I mean, like there's some projection, if the climate keeps changing at this pace, mosquito will cover the whole world in 60 years. Even Russia, even Canada, you know, you see. So that's the real problem. The other thing here is like, it's very funny. Every time I go to competition, people say like, the beauty of our product is that the design is so simple. It's so simple. It's used on a cheap material that's available everywhere. So all the judge ask like, why nobody think about this before? Mm-hmm.
Why do you think?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do you think such a simple solution? I mean, do you think your dad's a genius? I mean, maybe your dad is an inventor genius, or maybe there's other factors. I'm just curious.
We don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he's actually like, this is a second version. I'm not sure if anyone what think of it, but it's first version. Actually, when we talk to architecture, people do think about that. There's some people think about that, but nobody registered the IP for that because they think it's too simple. The second thing is like they have some job where you have to pick an effort to take entrepreneurship to make the whole thing to market. When you stay comfortably with the job. I'm not sure how about everywhere else in the world, but in Vietnam at that time, there is a mindset, a common mindset in our parent time. Is that like you get a job in the government, it's a stable job, you get whole life with that, while you have to to do something that's really weird. It's not proven. It's not a lot of effort to get through. So why not? Why? So maybe other people think about that, but they don't take the effort to do things. And when I talk with lots of startups, they have a saying: idea is cheap, execution is everything. Actually, first aid training is simple. Actually, before SSVN, lots of foreign companies come to Vietnam. They do that thing, but if all of them fail, even though they have like much more capital than us. But they fail. For the same thing with SiGen. Actually, the funny thing with SiGen is that like our product is that like in the traditional design of a catch basin, there is water. Therefore, there is mosquito get out. But like they always think about a way to try to kill the mosquito. They try to pump seawater in. They try to put like larvicide in. They have smart equipment that put in there so that they can release constantly the amount of larvicide. Because like when you put on chemical in, when the rain comes, it flush everything, and then the new water it doesn't have anything. So like you have to put larvicide and chemical again. But like they're just trying to think about killing mosquito. They don't try to think like why there must be water there.
Yeah.
So we said like they're trying to kill the mosquito. Our approach is like we redesign the whole thing to kill to stop the water.
Right.
So no water, no mosquito.
Yes.
That's a really simple principle.
Yeah.
They're like people trying to risk so much effort in trying to kill the mosquito instead of trying to kill their breeding environment.
Wow. So, oof. I feel like your passion for the product and the problem and the product and how you can solve it. What has going through all this showed you? We talked about some of the unique challenges, right, of pursuing this sort of career path in Vietnam. Do you feel more respected now? I will just say anecdotally, one of our friends who we're going to meet up with soon, it's like, oh yeah, Ben, he's an influencer online. Like anything he posts gets like all this engagement and, you know, likes and comments, and people are really excited about his work. And that seems very far from what you were telling me before, where, you know, you couldn't really see a path forward, or people didn't think there was a path forward in this space.
Yep.
What do you think now?
Yeah, I think like people realize they need purpose to live. Like you know, like majority of people they work for corporates. Like as a zombie, they just go there. They have to wake up every morning. They have to work every day, and they get exhausted in the evening. I mean, like people don't have a purpose. For me, I think like there are three things people need in life: job, career, and purpose. You know, job earn you money. Career get you to the person you wanna be, and the purpose is why you live, what you contribute to mankind as a whole. How you find a meaning in your life. But the majority of people, lots of people they have job, but their job doesn't match their career. And for lots of people, they have their job and career in the same place, but they don't have a purpose to live by. I think people start realizing that people need a purpose. You know, Vietnam becomes far beyond what we were 10 years ago.
Yes.
People have enough money to survive their day, to live on, to have their family. And now it's time for people to think about well-being, mental well-being as well. And purpose is one of the things. So from the engagement we have, like it's a side effect. I really didn't expect so many interact with me like on social media 2 years ago. When we start, we didn't think about that. We just keep doing things. But like our client become our supporter. When we have more volunteers and people appreciate. Like even though they pay we are in a premium segment. People pay really high price for us because we give them the best service. But also even though they pay a lot of money, they appreciate the service we have them, and also they know that like when they use our service, they have better chance of living, their family have better chance for surviving, and also when they refer us to their company, to their college, to the other people, they know that like they are giving the value to other people. It's not like when you introduce us, like you get money from other people. You are giving much more value to other company, to your friends than what we're doing. So that's really an unexpected consequence, and it's just keep growing. In this year is a boom years for me. Everything start.
We started this interview. You were like, "I'm sick, but I'm still gonna do this interview." You know, you're trying to make an impact, working for the local government, but you know you couldn't get everything you wanted out of that. So and that spun into some businesses. That spun into supporting these sort of products and these sort of social enterprises that you're building now, right? Something that strikes me about you is that you just have this... Okay, so I should share the story very quickly that we met at a conference, Waisili conference. We were teammates and we were pitching this idea to reduce plastic in Southeast Asia, right? And you were such a great part of the group because you just, it's so easy. We can do it. And like you'd like, you know, pump out a spreadsheet with projections in like 2 minutes. And you're like, done. Easy. Simple. And like all of us are stressing out and like pulling our hair out. But you strike me as someone who doesn't like, you just keep moving forward boldly. And it seems to me, now maybe it doesn't feel that way to you, but like, just kind of like, go. Get it done. Like, it's so perfect the way you described how you ended up in these businesses from your government work. But the key is you took action, right? So I'm wondering, where does that come from? This can-do attitude, this sort of act quick, because I think you do act very quick.
Yeah, I mean, like after you die a few times, you have an obsession that you wanna die. You know.
Is that where it comes from?
Yeah, it's a lot of reason. Like when I was young, like before I finished my primary school, I got an accident possible happened to me, and then I live in a place. It's a fisherman village.
Yeah.
It's like a gangster village, a criminal village as well. I mean, like, you know, people get die by HIV. You know,
Yeah.
Fisherman is a very dangerous job because
Yeah.
they got a good boat. They go to drive into the sea, and
Yep.
there's some typhoon. Lots of people die. In my whole childhood, like when I was like under 11, I listened to, you know, funeral music every night. I mean, like it's keep me questioning about life and death. So I look into religious texts. I talk to people. I watch Discovery and Nat Geo to find the answer. I cannot find the answer. So I take the worst possible answer. This is the only life you can have. And because after you go so many accidents, you know, like death is not like something, you know, dramatic like in Indian movie. People slowly, you know, get drama and die. You know, I tell you the feeling of how I get through the second floor. I just fell over the windows, and you know, you feel like the slow mo in movie. Yeah. Actually, you feel like the time slow by and the whole thing is your life flash in your head.
Flash before you.
Yeah, you flash before you die, and then I hit the ground, and at that moment I thought I was really die because like my internal organ get damaged as well, because I cannot talk even though I want to talk to call for help. I cannot even talk, scary. And I cannot move my body as well. I think like my bone got some damage. But like at that moment, I keep dreaming about that moment, and I ask myself like in that moment, if it happened to me again, what I will regret. Will I regret, like, you know? But my whole life, like, I play too much video games, so I talk like, yeah, this time to do something meaningful. And yeah, and actually that it's come to you. It's not like really a slow motion. Like and it doesn't need any kind of very good reason for you to die. It just happen, you know.
Yeah.
You can die anytime for any reason. Like maybe in the next minute you don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that question keep asking me the purpose of my life. So I want like until I die, I live a really meaningful and purposeful life.
Yeah.
So that's drive me ahead. And the second thing is here, like actually when I was a kid, I want to be engineer. My parents say that at that time there is no IT job. But
yes.
my parents say like, if you learn IT, you're gonna install Windows for other computers. So like they asked me to do business.
Yeah.
And then after that, like I got a scholarship in finance, so I have to do finance. And I work for government. I mean, like in my whole life, I keep changing my environment and my career, what I have to do. So I have to adapt to everything. So I think my adaptation is very well. So like you tell me that's a problem. Okay, go to internet, learn it, do it. So you know, there's no choice.
That's exactly. Yeah.
And when I was in Australia, I have a school teacher. He tell me one things I really remember. He taught me entrepreneurship. Fail cheap, fail fast, fail often. Because 99% of your ideas will be very stupid, will be bullshit. So you have to try until you have to try 99 ideas until you get to the one right things.
Yeah.
So you have to fail cheap. So you have the resources to fail 98 more times.
Right.
You have to fail fast because like you don't have the whole life to try everything.
Yeah.
And you have to fail often.
Yeah.
So that you can go to the one good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, just do it, because if you don't do it, if you do it, maybe the success chance is 1%. If you don't do it, the success chance is 0%.
Yeah.
And even if you fail, you learn something.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's the point of
yeah.
waiting?
Well, I just find that interesting because like it's what makes you fascinating to me is you have that ethos of moving quickly, but your projects that you're working on are very, you can't do survival skills quickly. You can't do mosquito catchwater basins quickly. Like they're very slow things.
It's a long journey, but you can always make a milestone on that. And even though for an outsider, you think like it's like waiting and boom. Right. No, there's lots of things happening in between every day.
Yeah.
You have to solve, even though like some paperwork to do, something to politics with the government, sometimes like recruitment with some staff, and sometimes you do marketing. Like when you work inside, like lots of things happen to me too every day.
Yeah. So when you're just completely overwhelmed with your employees and working with the government and doing this and doing that, what are you tell yourself, or what do you do? Dude,
I don't know.
do you scream?
No, I don't scream. I think lots of people freak out of that, and I see a lot of my staff like in my co-founder freak out as well. I think I'm kind of resilient. I'm not sure. I don't have lots of feeling or what. But I'm kind of resilient because come on, I've been through a lot worse things in the past.
Right.
You know, like this is something I can get by. Actually, going through university is more harder than doing business. I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of job to do. If you find your brain stop, you stuck with this job. There's some enjoyable job to do. You know, my enjoyable job is like to organize things. You know, put this file into that folder to get it organized. I love to write journal about what I do, and it's not journal. After I do something, I got experience. I really love to write it into an instruction, into procedure.
Yeah.
And then next time I recruit someone, I throw this procedure to someone, and then done. Like they just follow step 1, step 2, step 3, and done.
Yes.
I'm really good in making procedure and structure of my business. It's like my hobby. So I just write things. It's like you write a diary.
Right.
I write instruction. And it have.
Yeah, I want to ask you about, like, how many people do you have helping you with your various ventures, with your companies?
Wow, that's a lot. You know, like, you have family, you have my staff, and sometimes you have interns, you have volunteers, you have
exactly.
like
a lot of moving parts, right?
Yeah, you have like university. Like, I mean, we got good product, but you have a scientific report on how good the product. We work with university, we employ the staff from university, we work with the government. Some people support us, some people go against us. We work with our competitor. You know, from beginning they are our competitor, and now they become our buyers.
Right.
We work with media to get our message through. Yeah, we work with our client, of course, to get sell. Yeah, basically lots of people.
Yeah, how do you deal with that? That's a lot of people. I'm just curious, like, how you think about approaching, I'd say, working relationships. Let's put it that way. Like, working relationships with your employees, with your former competitors, now partners. Because this is something you've been doing for a long time now, right?
Yes.
Going to college overseas, and I know you're helping, like, Western Australia, you're helping Vung Tau, you're helping SiGen. Like, you're always in the middle of these relationships and, like, trying to help people out. So, like, I'm curious, how do you deal with that?
The whole thing is about teamwork. I don't work alone. I have my everyone supporting me and my team. So it's about team and delegation. I trust in my co-founder, in my staff. I trust my co-founders. One is subject matter, one do the sell, one do the public relation. Like in the SiGen, my father do the R&D, I do the sell.
Right. So
you have to trust completely.
Yeah.
And the things with delegation is that, like, lots of people doing different techniques. Like some people like the charismatic, they inspire to do. I don't have that charisma. I don't have that actually.
okay.
What I do is, like, I'm a very practical and systematic person.
Yes.
I'm really well organized. So my philosophy is that, like, everyone join at me. They don't join for nothing. When they join, they make an impact. So my whole things about my personal style is like I design a system that when an input go in, there is an impact come out. Like, it's not like lots of organizing, hey, become a volunteer and do something, and people don't know what they do, and they don't know, like, what they do to happen, what impact. Like, lots of people want to join us, but recently we
as
just
volunteers, you mean? Or as
volunteers, employees. But like, recently we have a relaunch our volunteer program, because we don't want to keep recruiting volunteer and do nothing. We want them to have a meaningful job, an impactful job, and along the way they can learn.
Yes.
So yeah, that is the whole thing. I design a system so everyone can go in and make an impact.
Yes.
So therefore they have a purpose. They have a connection with the organization. So now, even though lots of my members are students. So even though they're students, I trust them, I train them, I trust them, and they become our ambassador. They represent us in their school. They talk to their school, to their community. So we cannot do things alone. We need to duplicate ourselves. We need, like they say, like, a person can die, but the ideas will not die. I give the idea to them, and this is our ideas, not my ideas.
Right. Wow. And how do you stay on top of all your communication?
on top of communication, I don't know. So actually, like, because like we live in a very well connected system. So example, you are a VIP, I talk to you, I have a system. When I pass the message, those people work together and have the outcome.
Right.
So like in the past, when we just start up the company, it's very difficult because when I promise you something, I do it myself.
Yes.
And now I just come to promise, I might come to make the deal.
Yeah.
And I know that there is a team really support me to get through everything. So we just make the deal, and the team will handle the rest.
My last question on the social impact, social enterprise stuff is like, what would you tell someone? Well, you must do this a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Like when you go to the universities and maybe you're on a panel or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I really want to make a social impact, but how am I going to survive? Can I like make money doing that? I'm going to this great college. I need to get a good job. I need to work for a big company."
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the goal, right? For a lot of young Vietnamese. I mean, in this stage of development for the country, right? It makes sense.
Yes, right.
They pay a lot of money for their education. They want to get a great job, and that's usually with a big company, a big corporation. You get that prestige. Oh yeah, I'm working for, this big company and got a good salary. So
it's up to them. Like everyone have their own purpose. I don't try to convince someone who don't share the same purpose to join us. But if they have a similar purpose, let's join.
It's very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple.
Yeah.
We don't need everyone to join social entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We need the right one to join, because like the amount of people who are eager to do something for the society are so many, and they don't know how. If we just target that community and show them the right way, or inspire them so that they can get forward, we already make a lot of change already. I'm not a perfectionist. I don't need people to be perfect. I need plan to be perfect. I need things to get done. With the resources we have. I think like there is one businessman tell me a word called impeccable. You do the best thing with your available resources. Mm-hmm. You don't try to be perfectionist.
Yes. Yeah. And is there like, do you have like one inspiration, like a person you look up to, or an author, or anything that keeps you inspired? How do you stay inspired?
It depends on people. Some people need emotion to work. I need purpose to work. I have a big purpose enough to give my whole life for that. Yeah. So why you have to listen to? I mean, like, people. The point here is that people listen too much to the famous people. Like when you are famous, even you talk bullshit, people still buy it. Like some people say, you sleep 4 hours a day to be success, and the other person was like, sleep 10 hours a day to be success. I mean, it's right in their own. It's not right for everyone. Yeah. So you have to find the right things for yourself. The problem here nowadays with people, they try to go to a lot of seminar about how to get quickly successful. It doesn't have, like, something successful to you doesn't mean like it's successful to me. And the definition of success for everyone is so different. So what's the point, Actually, I do read about them to learn their best practice. Yeah. But I don't, say like, Steve Jobs is the only thing that I have to follow. Why you don't have to learn from everyone else? Yeah. Even like from my staff, actually, they're really young. They didn't even graduate. I see inspired by a lot of them.
Right.
Actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not?
Did you enjoy this conversation with Ben? Well, if you did, please leave a review on your podcast app. It helps more people discover the show, and I would sincerely appreciate it. You can also find show notes to this episode at upstartist.tv/ACE. Yeah, hope to continue the conversation with you over there.